رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين يا رب العالمين. Right. So today, with the introduction of supply chain management under this module, we have 8 modules to go. Right. So with regard to our operational research. Okay. All right. So let us see. Understanding first on the supply chain management. Oops, all this. Yeah, I need to go up. Right. So in study, right, in the studies, we see supply chain management the oversight and coordination of all activities involved in producing and delivering a product or service, which is from raw materials to the final delivery, right? So we always see what we want in the market, which is the final product, right? So now in supply chain, we want to backward the whole process, where it coming from raw material until we receive the end product, right? So that's supply chain management as overall. It encompasses the planning, execution, control of processes, right? So related to overall process of sourcing, procurement, production, logistic, and also distribution, right? So the goal of supply chain management is to optimize efficiency. Of course, from the business standpoint, we are looking into cost reduction. And of course, us as a customer, right? So we want to fulfill customer satisfaction, right? So again, from competitive advantage, actually we by offering superior products that what a customer demand and services at the competitive prices, right? So that's overall the value and the chain that we are talking about in the supply chain management. Where it goes? Okay, right. So let's see. Actually, supply chain management, we have 5 stages overall, right? So from the planning is using supply chain analytics and also material management system. Secondly, we look at the sourcing, which is organization identify and select the vendors that they want to work with and can supply the material in a streamlined and efficient way according to the agreements, right? So make that mean at the manufacturing site, which is at this stage product are manufactured. This include this include production scheduling, testing, ensuring compliance to requirements, all those ISO requirements, right? The quality standpoint, and packing, storage, and also releasing to the next process, which is to the distribution, right? So multiple machines might be equipments, right? Based on the how complex the process, likely we being involved throughout the process, especially for the larger companies. And this increasingly use technologies lah in the current era, such as we are using also Internet of Things, IoT, artificial intelligence, right? So how to make it more efficient and more productive, right? So next stage is delivery, which is at this stage pertaining to logistic and focus on getting finished goods to consumers. We are the consumers, right? And in whatever manners of transportation. So we have multiple type of transportation, either using land, air, or even the water, right? So return, okay, this is not a one-way process in supply chain, actually, because anything to do with different required anymore, additional at the what we call that retailer sites, then we return back to the is either to the manufacturer or suppliers, right? Okay, so let's look into the importance of supply chain management. Why it is so important until we review in these IIIT teams, right? So firstly, we look into cost reduction and efficiency. We need to streamline the process, eliminate redundancy of waste, right? So because whatever waste is cost, which directly impact the bottom line, right? So secondly, look into optimizing inventory levels. The more inventory we are keeping, then the more actually price, the more cost incurred, right? So look into transportation type, because we know the fastest we using flight, right? So, however, it very costly. Okay, if we using land, might be takes time. The lead time will be longer, right? So look into of the warehousing as well, because mass production we need to store in the warehouse, right? So this one also cost. Business can reduce operational costs and improve cash flow, right? So lastly, from cost efficiency, look into minimize the risk of stock out. Most of the time, we are running out of inventory, then production unable to process because of one of the items stock out from our inventory. So all these are we need to have a better resource allocation in order to reduce the waste, right? So, and secondly, look into enhanced customer satisfaction. Timely delivery and product availability are very key drivers to customer satisfaction, because the fastest we receive, so of course we will be satisfied. We ordering the cars, new cars, right? To drive on Malaysia Merdeka Day soon, end of the month. But if the seller only commit for 2 months, then only can deliver, is not satisfied, right? So things that we need to enhance customer satisfaction, look into delivery, which is time frame required, product availability, right? So that is a key as well. So we need to ensure product reach customer quickly in a good condition, of course, from quality standpoint, and fostering loyalty and repeat business, right? So we need to gauge customer loyalty. Thirdly, personalized logistic and customized delivery option enabled by effective SEM further enhance to customer experience. Third, importantly, is on the competitive advantage. We look at business with efficient SEM have a significant advantage over competitors, right? The agility in the responding to market change and disruption also is the competitive advantage to the business, right? Strong SEM practice can also lead to a better brand reputation and also customer loyalty, right? So look into the risk management from the importance of supply chain, helps in business anticipate and mitigate a potential risk such as supply chain disruption, natural disasters. A few days ago on the attack, like what we call that 8 point something, right? Scales, right? So it's very even up to Japan's, right? So all these are natural disasters, and we need to mitigate the risk, right? So geopolitical instability, right? So this one also nowadays, unpredictable. It happened, right? So effective risk management also help business comply with regulation and also industry standard, right? So this one is to safeguard reputation and long-term viability. Okay. So lastly, look into the diversifying suppliers, building redundancy, right? So because sometimes building in redundancy and utilizing real-time data insights, right? So companies can navigate challenges and maintain operational continuity. So all these need to be managed correctly at all the times, right? In order to ensure our business is operating well. So lastly, talking into sustainable practices, right? Supply chain management is playing a vital role in promoting sustainability by optimizing resource utilization and also minimizing environmental impact, right? So by reducing waste, actually, we are optimizing transportation routes, sourcing material responsibly, and also business can minimize carbon footprint, right? So which are harmful to the environment, right? So lastly, we look into the compliance with the environment, especially if we look into ISO 14,000, right? The industry standard, we need to facilitate everything, in order to support a company commitment to sustainability. So in conclusion, actually, supply chain management is not just about logistics because in the past might be what come to our mind, right? So if we talk about supply chain, it's talk about logistics, but actually supply chain management is very broad, right? So talking about companies' profitability, customer satisfaction, competitive position, right, and also sustainability. So all these elements actually govern under supply chain management, right? So just to compare, right? So how supply chain in the past, which is we call as old paradigm, right? So they are working as vertical integration, whereby as a manufacturer, they also want to let's say for example car manufacturer over here I put example, right? So a car manufacturer, they also want eager to be a car importer, right? So they want to import the car, and also they want to be a garage owner. They want to what we call that, sell on their own, right? And they also want to supply, might be from another factory, supplying tires to their car manufacturer, or supplying paints to the manufacturer, because they are trying to be a conquer, right, for this case. So this strategy actually, by taking direct ownership, they want to anything to do with the car, they want to conquer the market. They want to be a manufacturer, they want to be a supplier, they want to be importer, right? So that's in the past. But now how it works? Okay, supply chain in the new horizon, in the new paradigm, we work horizontal, whereby strategy is, if we can see supply chain management, we have 6 different parties involved, right? So from raw material supplier, manufacturing, distribution, and retailer up to customer. Actually, the strategy is acquisition, right? So nowadays, if we see the company growing by acquisition, right? So that's how it works in new paradigms. Okay, so um, I'll a little bit brief through how it works now, right? Once we're talking about horizontal, which is there is either forward integration, meaning that they acquire company with higher up. For example, the supplier, they acquire their manufacturer, right? So in the past, they are working one company as a supplier, one company as a manufacturer. But now they are the supplier is acquire the manufacturer company, right? So this one we call as forward integration, and vice versa, which is the if manufacturer, they acquire supplier, we call as backward integration, right? So backward integration. So this one also it happened. right? So much of surprising things happening now, right? Then if you are at the same level, right? Same company, what we call that, end product, right? So you are acquire another company to make your company bigger, right? So this we call as horizontal integration. Okay, and if this one is a company is making bigger and bigger, if they are doing conglomerate, right? So they acquire non-related company, right? So if we look into Malaysian, to give example for Malaysian, we have top richest man in Malaysia, right? So if we look into the top three or even the top 10 also, actually they are on their business is on conglomerate. Right, so they have their own manufacturer of different products. Right, they also have a shipping company, nothing to do with their a lot of things they are doing in order to growing their business. Right. Okay, so these are some examples on the backward integration, which is recently, right, June 2025. Sisler, this one is a US company. They took over. They acquire a look, thin, and also all retail store in Malaysia. So now become a seller, right? So things that in the past they are retailer. Sorry, they are the suppliers, but now they took over the manufacturer. So it's become backward integration, right? So if looking at this one quite past, which is during myself at Intel earlier, right? Forward integration, right? Intel taking over Altera, which is a company also producing FCBGA at that time, FPGA, sorry, technology. So rather than Intel also do the same chip, producing the same chip, and Altera also producing the same chip. So Intel is a big company, right? So they took over, they bought over Altera. So now Altera become Intel. Kan? Right? So horizontal. This one in Malaysia as well. Recently happened in May. Right? So Bank Pembangunan Malaysia Berhad completes acquisition di Exim Bank and also SMP Bank. So they are the same which is the same operation type on the banking services, right? So they are acquire each other. Now become Bank Pembangunan Malaysia, right? So these are the examples. Okay. All right. So once you understand on the supply chain, so now I want to bring all those into Islamic from the Islamic business ethics, right? Okay, the Islam in Islam actually, we are talking about hope, right? This is being explained in Al Quran as haq is the right, the truth, or right. So, how we want to do a business? So the activities come back to the right, right, the truth, and also the fact. Okay, the khair, the virtuousness, and also adab, right? Adil. In Bahasa Malaysia, we call adil, just a little bit, pronunciation differently, but in Al Quran, it's adal. It's talking about stability and fairness, right? The keys, the impartiality, and also parity, right? The beer, right? The morality, the virtue, and also taqwa, right? The preciousness and also devoutness. Okay, so all this value actually is explained in Islam, in the Quran itself, right? So in fact, if we took into the moral and the virtuous action, we are designed in solihat, right? So while immoral in sayyat. So all these terms actually guided us. But how we want to put this term into our supply chain, whoever involved in the parties supply chain elements to operate the business towards this guided principle, right? So basic ethics, we have two things. We cannot run away from Holy Quran and also Sunnah, right? Right. So in Islam and supply chain itself, we have ethical principle, right? So these are the pillars. We look into transparency, conflict resolution, win-win situation in business, consensus-based forecasting, right? So in supply chain, we need to do certain forecasting. So Islam already teach us how to do forecasting, sharing rewards. We need to be since we are partners together, right, in the supply chain party, so we need to Islam actually emphasize us on the sharing rewards among our partners, right? So actual and giraffe demand, we also has been taught in the Quran. Relationship management, of course, right? Okay, so we go one by one on this transparency. I hope so. I'm guided by the time, right? Okay, from ethical principle of transparency, right? So we actually in any business transaction, right? So we always refer to Kitabul Buyu, which is the books of buying and selling. All right. So in every hadith compilation has many narration, which is prophet tell us about selling. The seller and buyer have the right to keep or return the goods as long as they have not parted or till they part. Right? So if both parties spoke the truth and describe the defect and qualities of the goods, so that means they would be blessed in their transaction. And if they told lies or hide something, then the blessing of their transaction would be lost. Right? So to that extent, our prophet already said very clearly, in business we need to be transparent, right? Don't hide anything, right? Okay, Abu Hurairah also said, once prophet passed through grain pile, this one is very good, right? So he put his hand inside the pile and he felt the grain wet. Then prophet asked, right? Prophet asked, why the grain is wet? And the owner said, this one is because of rain. Rain last night might be, right? So the upper portion is wet. Then prophet said that you should put the other upside down, which is whatever the wet one should be upside. Then people can see, oh, this one is in good quality or not, right? So to that extent, which is has been spelled, has been quoted, right? We has been guided to that extent on transparency, right? Okay, look into second principle, which is a conflict resolution, right? So this one, Al-Quran itself commands us to make peace among two group of believers in case of any conflict, right? So that means we have so many parties in supply chain. If there is any conflict among us between manufacturer to suppliers, or maybe between manufacturer to our retailers, right? So this is the guidance, right? So all believers are brothers, and this reconciliation will be blessed by Allah. It is also narrated from the Khaltum bil Uqba, right? So that prophet say, who make peace between the people by inventing good information or saying good thing is not a liar. All right. So in hadith also, once the people of Kuba, this one is quite, story is quite interesting, right? They are fighting each others. They threw the stone on each others, right? So when Prophet say, okay, let's go and bring about consolation. That means once a prophet heard about the quarrels, he bring his friend and go there and try to resolve between them, right? So this is about conflict, right? So we hate the conflicts, right? We need to make peace, right? So the third principle on win-win situation is talking about equitable dealings and lawful source of wealth, and draw a distinction between legitimate and unlawful sources of earning, right? So Allah say in Quran, give just measure and cause no loss to others by fraud and weight with scale. We always emphasize, right? Timbang betul-betul is Malaysia said lah, right? So you have to use the weight scale truly, right? And upright, and do not make people short of their things. Right. So it's very, very key if we are scaling in, the items that want to be sold. Okay. And do not spread disorder in the land as mischief makers. Right. So Prophet Muhammad also warned believers from injustice and misalignments. Right. So avoid doing injustice and loss to others, because for the day of judgment it will be turned into manifold darkness, and also safeguard yourself against misalignments, right? Okay, so all these are very has been guided, and then we need how we want to operate, how we have to operate, right? So from the win-win situation. Next, looking into the consensus-based forecasting. This one in Islam actually must emphasize on mutual consultation, which is shura. We always use the word shura, right? In Bahasa Malaysia also we have we use the same Quran word in our translate to our Bahasa Malaysia, right? Mutual consultation while conducting affairs and matters. Okay, so this can help in achieving better outcome, and hence decision should be initiated after mutual consultation in Quran, and consult then in the conduct of affairs once you have taken a decision, right? So place your trust to Allah. Surely Allah loves those who place their trust in Him. Allah bless those who conduct their affairs with mutual consultation. Don't work silo, right? So we need to have a shura, meeting, and also come to a decision together, right? So Sayyidina Mu'az reported that Rasulullah in the past sent him to Yemen. He asked him how he would decide. He said, I will decide in according to Allah's book, which is from Quran. And what if the person asks, what if it's not in the book of Allah? He said, I shall act in accordance to Sunnah, right? Because of the messenger of Allah. And he asked again, if it is not in Sunnah, then what Rasul said is, I shall do my best to form an opinion through consensus, and I shall spare no effort, right? So is a shura discussion come to a one decision making, right? Right. So next we go to sharing rewards among supply chain parties. Right. Quran has stressed on the needs and importance of sharing and condemns misalignments. Right. So it is in Quran, Allah does not love the arrogant and also the proud. Right. Those who are misled and beg people to be misled and conceal the reward which Allah has bestowed upon them. Right? So we have kept in readiness a humiliating punishment for such deniers. Right? So that's Allah already promised the reward. Right? So we just do our part and we get it. Okay? Right. So once Prophet Muhammad stressed on importance of giving and spending on dependents and also deserving individual of society, it is also advised not to withhold money while spending to Allah's way. Right? Sadaqah, right? So the upper hand is better than the lower hand. Alhamdulillah, right? So just give, don't keep, right? Ryan should start giving first to his dependent, and the best object to contribution is that which is given by wealthy person from the money which is left after his expenses, right? So this is the guiding principle to us, not only in supply chain, right? So come back to individual as well. Right. So next on the actual and derived demand. Right. So Prophet Muhammad withholding of commodities in general use of the sake of increasing the price. Right. So look for details. He also barred the businessman from hoarding. Right. He prohibited the buying of commodities before they reach the market because market will decide the price. Similarly, he also prohibited from bidding more and more only for deceiving. Right? So, in other words, actually, if we see someone now in durian season, right? Durian season in Malaysia. So, those, participant here, if you love to eat durian, come to Malaysia. Now is the season. Right. So, if, for example, if we are looking for someone in the lorry, carrying the durians, full of durians, right? So, we stop him to buy at the roadside. So it's not right. We have been guided. We are not supposed to do so until we can follow the lorry to the destination that he want to stop and selling his durian. Then we buy from there, right? So that's the Muslim guided us to do. Okay. Prophet already guided us to do that way, not stopping the people, at the roadside, in the middle of his journey, right? And buying at that particular point, right? It's not right. Okay. So in other hadith, Prophet also to enter a transaction on the transaction of others when he was already committed. It is said, do not be jealous to one another, slandering each other, hate each other, and also mutually hostile. One of you should not enter into transaction when the other has already entered into it, and be fellow brothers and true servant of Allah. Right? Very well said over here. Okay? Right. So next, actual and derived. Sorry. Okay? Why I cannot? Okay, it stop. Cannot. Oh, sorry. Cannot go to the next just now. All right. So next we go about a final one, which is the relationship management. What is the ethical principle guided us from supply chain, right? So Islam laws stated that entities depend upon others, and hence it is important to develop effective relationship, right? So among buyers, among suppliers, and also other stakeholders, right? So this can be done by implying that interdependencies exist among different members and network of societies. And hence, relationship must be managed humbly, nicely, and full of leniency in order to build trustworthy and enduring relationships. So, we cannot be in fact, from the small scale, from our housing area, right? So, if we look into these matters, right? So, how we want to create a good relationship with and harmonies, right? So, and to the bigger scales, if in business, how we want to, manage our relationship with stakeholders, all the stuff, we are being guided. Abu Qatadah related that the Prophet, if one would like Allah to save him from hardship of the day of resurrection, he should give more time to his debtor who is short of money or remit his debt altogether. Talking about in Bahasa Malaysia, we call as hutang, right? So this is because sometimes you give loan to someone just ask for some money, you give, and then at the end of the day it's no payback. Right? So all those will affect relationship, right? So talking about brother to sister or in the family itself from small scale, but from the business, So it will be more, what we call that, the impact will be more greater if we are putting ourselves in this kind of thing. So Prophet already say so, right? So whatever that, so need to be settled, of course, right? So cannot bring to uh, life after here, right? Okay, so now, so I'm quoting a few because in the class sometimes the student unable to understand details, right? So I'm quoting from principle, application, and also example for the students, right? So from transparency and accountability, right? So we look into like Islam if emphasize on honesty and transparency in transaction. So for example, application, which is supply chain should be transparent with clear information about products, right? About origins of the ingredients, the process, right? So if we see, especially on food, right? So everything, all the ingredient will be printed on the product itself, right? So all this we need to be transparent, right? And business should be accountable for their action and take responsibility. Okay, example, the business should be willing to disclose information about supply chain to consumers and stakeholders. This build trust and ensure that products are as what they claim, right? So from unity and cooperation, Islam encourage cooperation, right, and collaboration, right? So win-win. Just now we are talking. Okay, application. Supply chain should be viewed as collaborative network where all stakeholders work together towards shared goal, right? We cannot have someone win and someone lose, right? So we need to cooperate each other, collaborate. Example is talking about business should build strong relationship with their suppliers, customers, and also other stakeholders, fostering trust and also mutual benefit. Right. So from ethical sourcing and procurement, Islam teach stress the importance of social responsibility, ethical conduct, right? So in business dealing. Application, we look into like procurement should be prioritize supplier who uphold fair labor practice, right? So we need to audit all these things, right? Environmental sustainability and also fair trade principle, right? So we look at all these value, whether the supplier is commit to that or not, right? Before we appoint them as our suppliers, right? So example, business should avoid sourcing from supplier who exploit workers or damage the environment, right? They should also ensure the workers are paid fairly and also work in a safe condition, right? So from justice and fairness, we look Islam promote fairness and equity in all interactions, including those within the supply chain. Right? Application over here, if we look into suppliers, should be treated fairly, right? So their contribution should be recognized and rewarded. Okay, labor should be compensated justly, and also working conditions should be safe and conducive to productivity, right? So a business should avoid exploiting suppliers by paying them unreasonably low prices or demanding excessive concessions. It should also ensure that employees receive fair wages and benefit. Right. So lastly, K is talking about halal integrity. So I quoted halal meaning permissible, right? So refers to product and also process that adhere to Islamic law. So nowadays, if we look into menus, you know, big restaurant, so free porks, so they establish free porks. So is it halal for Muslim to enter to eat inside, right? So it's something questionable, right? So free porks meaning no, right? So is it, the beer is still there. So if you can see a lot of things lah, right? So application in supply chains, halal integrity requires ensuring that all components, ingredients, and process involved in productions are permissible according to Islamic principle. right? So this include avoiding prohibited substance like pork and alcohol, and ensuring proper handling and storage of halal products, right? So if the halal, during transportation, for example, right, inside the
Doctor,
same containers, yes,
yeah. Uh,
1 minute
can you
left,
give
1 minute
some
left.
time for for Q and
All
A?
right, right. Halal food manufacturers must ensure that all ingredients are sourced from halal suppliers, and that processing equipment and also storage. Actually, this is my last upper slide. All right. Okay. So I think that's all from me. So any question? Sorry, overrun by 2 minutes for question and answers.
Okay, doctor. There is a student raise up their hand for Q and A.
Mm-hmm.
We open for
Yeah.
them. Brother Salom. Brother Salam, you can unmute yourself. You can
It's
unmute
not
yourself.
time, and then
Yes,
if time is running out, then later.
yeah.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
My name is Salomo, and I'm attending this from Tanzania. Thank you very much, Dr. Siti Mariam. Thanks for the supply chain management explanation. It's so good. We often, in the current business spectrum, we hear a lot about value chain management. So just curious to understand to what extent value chain management is similar or different from supply chain management. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Salam. Okay, actually, for value chain management, it will be in next topics. So might be I will only answer in next topic. Can it be that way? Right? Okay. So you have to attend on next week because I will cover on that. Okay. So any other question?
Let me check in the chat box, doctor.
Yeah.
Or any one of you, if you want to have a question, you can raise up your hand directly, so I can unmute you.
Yeah. You can also in chat, and then I will answer during second slot the presentation. Yeah.
Doctor, there is a from, I think, Sister Farida. She asked, inshallah, the slide will be given in the drive. Inshallah, Dr. Mariam will put in the group. What I call in the drive. Sorry, in the group, in the drive, so you can check again, Sister Farida.
So that means she asked for the slides, right? So we
Yes,
will
yes.
upload over there, and then you can access from there.
Okay, I think there is no question anymore, and our time also time's up, Doctor. Thank you very much. Inshallah, Dr. Mariam will see us again in the next session. Thank you very much for your insightful presentation today, Doctor.
All right. Thank you so much.